Okie dokie.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay, I can't. Well, nope. I can't hear you, but mine is on.
Can you hear me, Carlene?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you before.
I can't.
Now I can hear you now. I guess you were on mute or something.
I used a microphone, so I'm wondering.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, I had mine off, and I'm like,
I cannot hear
I turned up my
you.
volume.
So, can you hear me pretty good, Carlene? Can you
Yes.
nod? Good.
Yep.
Okay. However, I don't know why I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Come look at my volume filters. Can you? It looks like I got it on though. Volume. I am. Okay.
Not sure why I cannot hear you, Carlene.
I'm talking about for Zoom builders. I can.
Hello.
Oh, everybody looks so pretty. Hi, Holly.
Hello.
I can't hear you either.
You can't hear me?
So, Chrissy,
I can hear you,
I
Holly.
can hear you, Carlene.
can you guys hear me?
I
Can
think
you just nod if you can hear me? Okay. I'm wondering if it's because I have, hey, Chrissy. I'm wondering if it's because I have my microphone on, if that's messing me up. I can't hear any of you guys.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
That's it.
oh, that's not
Okay,
good.
I'll have to take off my microphone. Is it pretty clear? The microphone? I know.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't hear you guys. And that's weird that all of you I can't hear. So let me turn it off. Oh, that's probably okay. So, okay. All right, now I can hear you guys. Okay.
Okay.
Can I ask, was my audio much clearer or not bad before?
Uh-oh.
It wasn't bad. Can you hear me now?
Okay. I can hear you and it's good. Carlene, can you talk? Chrissy, can you talk?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there. Okay. Great.
Hey, look at all of us. We look good.
That's what I was saying.
I feel like though I need to show my shoulders too.
Well, I was just going to put my little sweater on. I was like,
All showing. Yeah, we all got our shoulders showing.
Yeah, that's what it was. Chrissy's not showing skin. Because I'm like, what is wrong with this picture? No.
Just throughout, I'll just kind of start.
Yeah, liven things up a little, huh?
Right.
no, I have mine. I was going to put mine on. That's funny.
It's just way too hot. I'm upstairs. There's no way. I've got lights. Yeah, so
Oh, right.
it's gonna be really hot. That's why. Do you guys have any lighting or any? I mean, no, you guys look great, but I'm just saying.
I put lighting on. Is it too much?
No, it looks good. Actually, I noticed that. You know, you're a little on the pink side, so I'm wondering if it's a little too direct.
Maybe. Let me see if I
Holly,
can
maybe
adjust
just move it. Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
There you go.
Dropped it.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And Carlene, I noticed just, it's no big deal, but there's like a light spot on your left shoulder.
Yeah, that's the light.
She's like, that's where I'm getting my light.
Okay.
I can move. I can actually, yeah. Hold on.
If
Turn
you
that on and
maybe
It's still pink.
for me.
That's too dark though, huh?
that's too dark now. Yeah.
I guess I'll have to be pink.
Okay. That's okay. It looks better than the dark. Yeah. Okay. Chrissy, your
Is that better? I just moved the light.
could you just can I do a little sound check? Chrissy, we'll start with you.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you want me to say?
There you go.
Is it okay? You can hear me?
Yeah. Just can you just talk some more? Just keep talking.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's see. What do you want to talk about?
Okay. Chrissy, actually, you know what? You look really good, like right there, like closer. I think with
My sweater.
you guys look good. Like we can't go wrong if you're closer.
I know that's scary, but it just looks really good close. I'm just thinking recording wise. So there's 36 people who've signed up. Mike wanted to come on earlier, but I said not necessary because I knew we would be on and then we wouldn't feel comfortable. He's all ready to go. I haven't heard from, I was trying to reach out to State Farm Dondrell because I had some last minute changes on his thing, but I think he'll be good. So one of the things I noticed, Chrissy, oh gosh, who is that? They're early. Well, we won't worry about that. Chrissy, if I have the screen sharing, I can't do the breakout. Like I have to let go of the screen sharing.
Yes, that's always how it is.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then also, you know where the breakouts are? You're pretty good at, because I was going to put a slide for the breakouts.
I have a sticky that's like with the slide numbers.
Okay.
And I kind of like I know what's on there.
Okay. You want me to add it real quick?
No.
Or I could if you want.
No.
No? Okay.
No.
We're good. All
I think we're good. I know it's the picture. I know it's the airline thing.
Okay.
And then I know it's the quote from that psychologist. And then it's at the very end when we ask what they, and I'm only going to throw that one in if we're okay on time.
Perfect.
The one where I ask, what do you need to feel supported?
Okay. Awesome. Hi, Dondrell.
Says he's still connecting.
Connecting. Yeah. All right. So guys, I think what's really important here is that we are just genuine, authentic and real. And if we mess up, that's even good because then we're more real, right? So I just encourage you to be as real as possible. And so that means flubbing up, making mistakes, and then just admitting it. I want it to be that real. So anyway, so we can't make a mistake if we're real.
Right. All the pressure.
Yeah, so time and let's see what else. So I'm just, let's just, while Dondrell is connecting, let's have a word of prayer. Carlene, can you do a quick prayer for us?
Sure. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this opportunity that we have as Parent-Led Academy coaches and the organization, be able to help families and to be able to get through this COVID and give them some strategies, Lord, that can really help them to be able to be the best parents that they possibly can be able to support their children as we go through this very difficult time that we've never been through before. But we know that you can do all things. And we pray that you strengthen us, give us wisdom, guidance, and help us as coaches to feel comfortable, to be able to be authentically ourselves, to really allow your light to shine through us and help us to be able to be lights to the world, lights to everyone. And we thank you. So nervous. We thank you, Lord, for all that you do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, amen.
Amen. All right.
You know what? We're good. We've already prayed for the people who are going to be here.
That's right.
God's got us. Like I started to, my husband asked, he said, "Are you nervous?" And I said, "I'm really not, but I haven't allowed myself to go there." And so I sat down and I started kind of looking and I started to feel a little bit bubbly, but that kind of adds to it. It's good.
Right. You're just excited.
But then, you know what? I thought, I cannot overscript this. Like, whatever comes out of my mouth, let it be the glory of God. I cannot. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're good. We're fine.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's how it takes the nervousness out, is when we know that we're all serving the Lord, not man, not ourselves, but serving him. So it takes the pressure off because then he works through us. Dondrell, there you are. Oh, I'm sorry. Chrissy, did you have a question?
No, I was just going to say one thing that when we're going through, make sure that everybody's muted unless you want to talk, because then it'll help.
Right. We're going to do some housekeeping in the beginning. So, hey, Dondrell, how are you?
Hello.
Oh,
You're
can't
muted.
hear you. There we go.
Good evening, good evening. I wasn't quite ready to come on. I was doing some stuff with my kids, but I heard all that prayer going on. I said, let me get I want to get in there on that right there.
Yeah, Carlene, your Minnesota buddies are prayer warrior.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I feel better now.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. We're glad that we share that.
Yeah.
Can't do without it. Dondrell, real quick, while I've got you here, I know we're going to be talking about this. What link do I use to get on? Okay, so Michael. Oh my goodness, let me see. Actually, Chrissy, can you invite Michael Bond?
You know what? I was waiting. I don't think I have co-host anymore.
Oh, okay.
I have share screen. I can do that, but I don't see anybody. Oh, wait, hold on, maybe. Let me see if I can.
I just made you co-host.
Oh, okay, that's why it came up.
Okay.
So invite.
So I'm going to go into, so I'm sharing my screen right now, right? Or am I not?
No, not yet.
Okay. I'm going to,
If you'll excuse me for just a moment.
sure.
Do you want me to share my screen? I have it up and ready to go too,
Okay.
if that's easier.
Okay.
Because we've got 1 minute to go.
He needs
I've been
Zoom link.
excited all day.
We've only got one person so far that is,
That's fun.
why am I not? Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh my goodness, why is this? Okay, two, Michael Bond. Okay, so, okay. All right, we are gonna go on, participants. And can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and present.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can move it. Okay.
Okay.
I cannot.
Marisa?
Yes.
Okay, hi, it's Diane.
Hi, Diane. How are you?
Good.
Excellent.
I'm here with Gary, but I don't know if you're going to see us because I kind of have to put the phone in a way that you might be staring at the ceiling. You'll just see a white box, but we'll be here.
Okay. All right. No problem. Not a problem.
You two know each other, right? You know Marisa Leinert. Yep. And you know my husband, Gary Paisley.
Oh, yes. Hello, Gary.
He says, hello, it's been a long time.
Yes. So, let's see. You know what? I'm going to stop sharing. Chrissy, why don't you share?
Sorry if I interrupted something.
Oh, no, that's okay. Just because I think that way it's, yeah, I think you having control is better than I. So,
There we go. Okay. Are you able to see breakout room on your end? If I'm controlling?
I do.
There we go.
Perfect. I just was a little, because of the participants, I wasn't seeing. So here's, So if you see anybody, Chrissy, go ahead and let them in. Hi, Angela. How are you?
There we go.
Hi, Angela. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
Good to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm actually a grandmother. But we do what we have to do.
There you go. Your job to be the messenger, huh? Pass
Yes.
on all the information.
Yes.
I think grandmas have a little bit more time on their hands to do that
Yes.
sometimes than parents. So good to have you.
Thank you.
We have another participant, Diane. Hi, Diane. We have two Dianes on now.
Oh, yes, Diane Tomlinson. I don't think we greeted her yet.
Nope, not yet.
Hi, I'm here. I need
There
to get to
we
a
are.
better spot though. It's kind of, the lighting is poor.
Hi, Diane. Nice to have you with us.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome.
I'm gonna move to another spot.
Okay. And maybe we'll just wait one more minute. I think I'd like to have at least Michael on.
I admitted him. I thought he was in here.
Okay. Thank you, Chrissy. Yes, I see him on now. Yes. Hey, Michael.
Hi, how you doing?
Oh, doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm good.
Awesome. Awesome. Sorry about that link. I thought you had it. So.
No, I just signed up regular and just used the regular link.
Okay. No worries.
So dark.
No worries. All right. So welcome, Michael, Dondrell, Diane Tomlinson, Angela Copeland, Diane Paisley. Awesome. And can I just ask real quick if you guys could mute yourselves? And that way we won't get any echoes, and that would be wonderful. Except for my coaches, of course. You guys could stay on, but if everybody else could mute, wonderful. That way we don't get any feedback. And just some little bit of housekeeping rules. If you guys would like to make a comment, ask a question, absolutely open to that. If you could just raise your hand. So on the bottom there, you should have the ability to raise your hand. Just let us know if you'd like to chat, and then I will see it, or Chrissy will see it, one of our coaches, and then we will let you in. Awesome. And then if you have any questions, you can also use the chat room. So feel free to use the chat room. And coaches, can I just have you also kind of pay attention to that? You could just step in if no one said anything about someone offering a question in the chat room. Feel free to just step right in. So, okay, we're going to get started. Welcome, everybody. Parenting through COVID. We need each other during this time, and that's why this exists. It's for you guys and also the grandparents out there. So glad to have you, Angela, the messenger for her and her family. I want to introduce myself. I'm Marisa Leinert. I am the founder of Parent-Led Academy, and this organization has been a nonprofit for just under a year, but we have done a lot thanks to my team of coaches. So I'd like to introduce them to you. Just go give a wave when I introduce you. We'll start with Carlene. Carlene's all the way from Minnesota. Yes. And Carlene, just say a little something. Carlene, introduce yourself.
Well, I am a mother of 6, single parent, and I also a life coach, and I love helping parents, and I love talking about children and raising and how we can better help our children, and I just love people. So
That she does. We all love people. That's why we're part of Parent-Led Academy and we love parents. So thank you, Carlene. And again, she's visiting us all the way from Minnesota. So yes, we have a coach outside of Arizona. Holly, you're up next. Can you tell us a little bit about your two precious boys and what you're passionate about?
Hi, I'm Holly, and I am in Arizona also, and I have two teenage boys that are 16 and 19. And I have a passion for helping people who have been through any sort of pain in their life to just kind of take that pain and make it into something fresh and new, to get some healing and to move forward and get past some of those things by walking through it and actually feeling it and then moving on.
And that you do, Holly, very well. We kind of title her as our soul care coach. So Holly, thank you. And then of course, Chrissy Fleming, who is really going to be leading us tonight. She's amazing with 24 years of educational experience, but I'll let her tell you the rest of all her accomplishments. Chrissy, are you there?
I am here. Hello, everyone. I have been in education for a long time. I've worked with preschool all the way up to high school. So I love them all. And it's really interesting how you see so many similarities, even though there might be a decade apart in age. Kids are kids, and I absolutely love them. I have three of my own. I have one that is studying engineering for the second year over at ASU. And my middle son, he's a sophomore in high school. And my youngest is a fifth grader. And they play baseball and lacrosse. And when I'm not doing something with education and social emotional learning, I'm probably at a baseball or lacrosse field. And if I'm in neither of those places, you'll probably, well, maybe soon, find me in a Zumba room. I really missed it during this time, but I can't wait to get back. So that's me.
Okay, I'm a visual person and I'm picturing you in your Lululemons right now. But anyway, you look great, by the way. And then, of course, a shout out to our two sponsors tonight. We couldn't do this without you guys. We're going to start with Michael Bond. If you want to just say a little something, he is the owner of First Place Tutoring. And we also have Dondrell Swanson, who's been a State Farm agent for 15 years. So we'll start with you, Michael. Say hello.
Hi everyone. It's great to see everyone on here.
Awesome. A man of few words. John Grell. But
I'll be speaking later.
That's right. I was going to say, you know, much later on, we will be hearing from Michael and his stories of how he tutors students. John Grell, how about you?
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I, too, will have the opportunity to say something a little later, so I will defer back to the meat of the program.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's not waste any more time. I'm going to go ahead and pitch it to Chrissy. Chrissy, why don't you lead us?
Okay, we will get started. So first of all, I'm just going to say, please bear with us if there is any technological hiccup. If you have done anything with any online schooling in the last few months, you know it's unpredictable at best. So hopefully everything will go smoothly, but just please offer grace if something doesn't. All right, right here on your screen, you're going to see some pictures. And I want you to take a minute. I want you just to look across the pictures and see if there's one that really speaks to you tonight, where you're at. Maybe it's something a little bit more comical over here. Maybe things are going really nicely with schooling and at home. Maybe not so much. And maybe, I'll tell you honestly, yesterday I was here. I'm not, thankfully, anymore today, but I was in this upper head exploding, overwhelmed, have so much going that I felt like this. So think about which one you relate to the most right now and kind of tuck that in your head and then just take a minute, think about why. Why are you relating to that picture? What's going on that's making you feel that way? I know that I can identify with every single one of these pictures at some point. We probably all can. But think of the one that really resonates with you right now. I want you to think about that. As soon as you've got that in your head and why, we are going to actually kind of split up into some small groups and talk about which picture it is that we're resonating with and why. So just get us talking a little bit tonight. So if Marisa, you will put us in some breakout rooms, that would be fantastic. So if you've never done a breakout room, what's going to happen is on your screen, it's going to say join breakout room 1, join breakout rooms. Just hit join and it'll take you to where you're able to talk to someone. And then you'll get a 1-minute warning of when to come back so you can wrap up your conversation. Really gonna be quick. So go ahead and join that room now, please.
You know, it's necessary.
Right.
Those are my babies.
Hey, Marisa.
Hey, I thought I'd join in since there's only 2 of you.
Okay.
Okay.
And we know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. How about you, Michael?
What was that?
Oh, because we heard from Angela, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I felt like that little head explosion one, not because I've been helping my grandkids, because, you know, I've been away. So I was actually, my grandson, I was watching them while parents were working pre-COVID. So not to have him around me so much has been a little difficult. So I'm constantly concerned with my family in their apartment. My granddaughter's now first high school, so this is different for her. It's not the experience she thought it was going to be. My grandson is really ready for preschool. I mean, he should be in, and I'm trying to say, are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you doing this with them? So I kind of don't know. They'll feed me a little bit of information. So, and you know, this whole environment this year, you know, not being around people you care about, all the negativity going around, close family members are sick. And, you know, so it's just like head exploding. It's like a lot to have to try to deal with. So that's how I feel.
I think a lot for everybody, actually, Angela, whether you have children or not.
Right,
you know, we've
right.
just never been through this before, and none of us have a magic ball. We have no idea what's going to happen from the next day to the next day. Elections, I mean, the riots, it's just, it seems like it's just building and building, and we just don't know where all this is going. So creating a lot of anxiety for a lot of people. No matter where you're at, really. Some a little bit more severe than others. And I think mental health is so important and is so key, not just during pandemics like this, which is so rare in history, but to just be careful of our mental health, just really be aware of it all year long. And so I'm just really big on that. You know, whenever I'm facing an issue or a challenge, I always want to know where the root source of that is, where, you know, so that we can just nip that thing in the bud and move forward healthfully. So I think this pandemic just forces us to do it more quickly and more often.
Right. And sometimes I guess you don't, you thought you were handling things. You thought, okay, I've released it, you know, but you realize, you know, deep down it was still there. So it kind of comes to the surface. So you got to realize I got to do something right now. I have to, you know, get in the car and drive. I got to sit at a park. I got to climb a mountain. I got to do something
Just
to
got to
get
get out
me
sometimes.
back centered, you know? So you know, so I'm constantly worried about the kids, you know? This is so different, especially when they're the age where, you know, they're so social now. Social is important to my granddaughter, who's now high schooler. So she hasn't seen maybe but one friend during the summer. So, and you know, I know that social part is bothering her, even though she's trying the best she can. I'm sending her little love notes every morning before she starts her day, you know. And my grandson, well, you know, he's just living his life, 4 years old. What, you know.
He doesn't know any different.
Oh, yeah. He's just got his dad around him all the time. That's all he knows. Since his dad has to work from home, so.
Michael, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I've been taking, every time I meet with my students virtually.
Actually, Michael, could you, well, maybe actually share with the entire group? Because I just got a chat from Chrissy, so we're going to close the room and share with us.
No problem. Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is so cool.
We're back in the main session?
Yeah, I think that was the 1 minute warning.
Okay.
Okay. So
Did you get a 1 minute warning? Okay.
I mean, that was that little ding, right? Isn't that what she said was the 1 minute warning?
That's what I heard.
Should be. Okay.
Oh, yeah. They're back.
Okay. And then maybe Michael will start off with you and you could share.
Okay. So since I work with kids every day.
I'm sorry. 12 more seconds.
Okay. 12 more seconds. All right.
No problem.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Okay, great. And Chrissy, can we actually have Michael share? Michael Bond is going to share. He never got to share in our breakout group, so I thought he'd share with all of us. Michael, take it away.
So since I work with students every day with tutoring, I've been making a special effort to really do a check-in with them on how school's going, how they're adjusting, and you know, it's mixed. I get from my students. Some of them are saying it's great because they're at home. It's sometimes a little better. Like I had a student today. He said today is usually his really long day, and he said he had I think it was a 2-hour history class, and he said the teacher spoke the entire time. And he said, I was like, if you were in class, you'd have been knocked out easily. He said, yeah, I've been gone. And it's at the end of the day. And so he said the good thing was I had my ear pods on. I was able to get up and kind of walk around and still hear him. So he was able to still be kind of focused in on the lecture and still, you know, keep his sanity, you know. But I also, almost from all my students, they say they miss their friends, the social part. But some of them say they don't miss getting up early to rush to school and stuff like that. They don't miss that part, but they do miss not being around their friends. And you know, it depends on what the subject is, and it's day by day on how they feel sometimes. But I had one student, she said she has a headache every day because she's so stressed and looking at the computer screen all day long. She has a headache every day. So, but she said it's getting better. I talked with her yesterday. She said it's actually getting better now. So.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Michael. Yeah, I'm glad that that's how you started off, you know, with every student. Just, hey, what's going on? What's the temperature? So, Chrissy.
Let me share my screen again. Okay. So I'm glad, thank you guys for sharing. I know, especially right when you come on to start sharing, that can feel a little bit vulnerable, but I think it helps to hear from each other and know that, hey, we're not alone. Like some days are good days, some days are not so good days. So it helps to know that We all go through that.
Mhm.
So I want to just kind of introduce what PLA is about. This is our mission. We want to equip and empower parents to raise their child's social and emotional life skills. And why do we want to do that? Well, kids with social emotional skills are more likely to succeed in school, work, and life. In fact, there's research that shows that having strong social and emotional learning and skills actually leads to so many benefits. It can increase your achievement by 11 points. That's huge. Like in education, we need to be tapping into that. As parents, we need to be tapping into that. And with strong social and emotional skills, the graduation rate is higher. They have more success and happiness in whatever career path they take, whether they go on to secondary school, trade school, whatever career. Their family and their work relationships are strong and healthy. Their mental health, oh my goodness, you guys, how many stories have we heard about kids struggling with mental health, anxiety, depression, suicide rates have gone up. This is the key to helping that. If we can help them with their social and emotional learning as parents, we can help protect their mental health, help strengthen their mental health. And then, of course, it also benefits our entire world because the person with strong social and emotional skills is a more engaged citizen. And we want that. That's what we want for our future. And of course, one benefit too, there's less crime when there are strong social and emotional skills.
And so just real quick, social and emotional skills, what are they? Empathy, teaching your child positive relationships. What does that look like? Responsibility, how to make wise decisions. So all those great character traits that we long for in our children, that's what social and emotional skills are.
Yes, for sure. Thank you, Marisa. And our vision, what we want, is to transform the way all parents spend time with their children, so they'll desire to engage in a way that connects them with their child socially and emotionally every day. Here's the thing. It's very difficult to take care of anyone else's social and emotional learning and their skills and their feelings. It's very difficult to do that if we don't have a good foundation ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves before we can take care of our children and help them. So you've all seen this little card in the back pocket of the airplane, right? They always tell you, secure yourself before your children. If we don't take care of ourselves, we can't help our children. So one of the things that Marisa was mentioning is, with social and emotional is your well-being, your ability to make responsible decisions, the way you connect with others. We have to be able to do that, not only so we can teach our children, but also so that we can be good role models. And you guys, here's the thing too about that, is there's a lot of pressure sometimes on parents and educators to feel like they have to have it right all the time and be good role models. Oh, no, 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 no. One of the best things you can do as a role model is talk to your children when you mess up. It was just last week that, man, my son, I found him in his room with a bag of chips on his bed. Now, mind you, this wasn't the first time that I've told him no eating in his room. Wasn't the second time, wasn't the third time, wasn't the fourth time. And we put new carpet in so that he knows that this is a rule that we're very passionate about. And I hit angry. I went from a 0 to 5 quick, and I did not handle it in the way that I will teach you to handle it. I was a little bit more aggressive than I wanted to be. And I left there, and I had to think, oh my goodness, why did I react that way? Well, knowing anger hides other emotions. And the emotions that I was feeling hurt that he could care less about our carpet and disrespected. And so I had to recognize what I was feeling first, I was reacting from my emotion. I needed to react to it. So I got myself calm, and I was able to go back into him and into his room and say, you know what? I am sorry that I yelled at you. I should not have reacted that way, but you need to understand that I felt extremely disrespected, and I was very hurt that you haven't taken our rules seriously. And then, of course, we went into a conversation about how much carpet costs and what happens when there's little crumbs in the carpet. So it was a teachable moment, but I was able to role model that, you know what, we're not going to get it right, and it's okay. We have to make it right and apologize and learn from that. So all of what we're talking about tonight, you don't have to be perfect. In fact, your imperfect moments are teachable moments. So I want you to think about when you're taking care of yourself, when you feel that tension in your body, when you feel that in the pit of your stomach, your shoulders hurt, your back hurts, or when something sets you off with your emotions, what do you do to kind of help yourself relax, calm down at the end of a hard day, at the end of a hard parenting moment? What is it that you do that takes care of you? So think about that for a minute. We're going to go into one more breakout room. We'll be real quick. So just take about 30 seconds to just kind of share what it is you do and why you should choose that. Okay? So go ahead and join your breakout room, and then we'll see you back in just a few minutes.
Hi, Sheree.
Hello.
Hi
Hi.
there.
How are you? So is it just you and I in the group?
I think Diane, are you there too? Or maybe not. Diane Tomlinson? Okay, maybe it's just you and me, Sheree. Hi. Are you Michael's
Wife? Yes.
wife?
I am.
Okay, I wasn't
I
sure.
am.
Same
Yes,
last
I
name,
am.
so I just took a guess.
Good guess. Yes.
Let me just ask you, what is one thing that you do to take care of yourself that you think is just, I mean, if just share it so that I know, and maybe that's something I ought to do, but what is the one thing that works for you?
So I'll be honest, I haven't been actually that good at it recently. I think that with this environment, when people are working from home, people feel pressured to put in more time to prove that they're working more. And it's really counterproductive, right?
Right.
And I'm in HR, so I'm always coaching my managers to not do that, because when people are working from home, they're actually putting in more hours, right?
Yeah.
Because they get up, they go to they leave their bed, they go to their desk, and then they work straight hours, no lunch. But what I usually like to do is I used to go salsa dancing. Salsa music makes me so happy.
That's awesome.
But with COVID, I obviously can't do that anymore. So I would say what I try to do is find a book that I really enjoy, and like find a quiet time and play some jazz, and just try to disconnect and read something that I'm actually going to fill my spirit, that I'm going to enjoy.
Yes. I absolutely agree. So mine would definitely be along those lines. It's, I've come to a point where I don't need music. I usually read my Bible, but not even that, just me, nature, looking out, and a notebook. I just always have a notebook and a pen. And I'm just in his presence, really, the Lord's presence, and just let him speak to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's drowning out all that noise. And sometimes it takes a long time, let me tell you. I mean, even if I have no distractions. So it's really to come to that place where I don't mind the silence has been, wow, 53 years. I mean, I've had to learn that, because usually I'd always have a something, like music was always a big one. Music to spur me on. I love music. I love jazz, smooth jazz, and I listen to it while I'm working. But start the day with just nothing, just pure silence, and just looking out. and to the trees. I have a patio. I have a little rocking chair, and I just look out. We have water, so that helps. And
Oh yeah.
oh my
That's a
gosh,
good idea.
I wake up and long and crave to sit and just be still.
Really, yeah.
Just,
You know, it's interesting because this topic is very of lots of interest to me, because a lot of my colleagues and the employees I support, they are in this situation. They are trying to manage work and educate their kids online at the same time. And you know, typically when you have like a video call, if someone had their kid in the background or anywhere near, it'd be so unprofessional, right? You might even be, you know, written up for that. Like, right now, I'm in meetings and babies walk by in diapers and kids, and it's not a thing. And people are like, oh, look, this is Max. And it might be a very senior leader in the company. And then they move on. People are like, hi, Max. And then, because everyone's in the same situation, everybody's trying to cope and manage through this. And so what's great about it is I think we're seeing people's humanity.
Yeah, I love it.
Right?
I love it. Yes.
But it's still stressful.
I love it. I think I'm going to have you share that. I'm going to close the rooms, and so we have a minute. Everybody got a minute notice, but I think you nailed it, Cherie. This COVID has really shown true humanity. Wow, that just spoke volumes to me. And so that's why we are willing to cut each other so much slack, right? Like, we understand it's okay. I mean, and really, it is okay. Everything's okay. Calling customer service and, you know, waiting a long time because there's half the people working. You know,
Yeah.
you've got to be okay. Otherwise, you could really go insane. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Wow, that was a really powerful session, and here it was only two of us. Cherie said something that I really loved all of you to hear, if that's okay. Is everybody on? I think everybody's back on. Cherie, why don't you go ahead and share what you thought? Not what I thought, but what you thought was something that you want to share with all of us.
Oh, okay. So what we were basically talking about is that this environment that we're in, where, you know, you've got parents working full time, you've got kids at home, trying to learn this new environment, and people are adjusting. It's very chaotic. And now people are showing up, you know, on Zoom calls like this with their kids. Sometimes they're introducing their kids. Sometimes they're feeding their kids in the middle of a meeting. You may hear kids cry or scream, and it's okay. In fact, people are learning more about each other, and it's showing people's humanity. And it's showing that we are more than just a title. We have lives, we have family, and everyone's kind of managing and coping through this together. And I think that's bringing a level of understanding and empathy that wasn't there before.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yes.
I love that, Cherie. Thank you for sharing. That's very, very powerful, and it's something that we don't, like, a lot of times we can get caught up in all of the negative and the bad things that are coming out of this, but I think that's one of the beautiful things is that we are seeing the humanity in each other and having empathy too for we can understand, we can relate to each other, and that's SEL right there. You know, so it's very powerful. So, with that little segue, I'll share my screen. So we were talking about taking care of yourself first and how it's necessary. So here's just some ideas. I know in the breakout room I was in, we were talking about recognizing your body sensations, the breathing, and really letting go of some of our needs to have control over things that maybe are material. And so that was actually really good for me to hear. So here are some things that self-care can be. But what's really important to understand is that what works for you might not work for your child, might not work for your friend, your spouse. It is personal. So these are just some ideas of things just to start thinking about, what do you do to take care of yourself so that you can take care of your children? So very, very important and oftentimes difficult is asking for help, right? Sometimes we can get very prideful and we don't want people to know that we don't have it all together. In fact, that was me yesterday when my head was about to explode. I was confiding in my husband that I didn't want to admit to anyone that I was feeling overwhelmed and that I wasn't sure I was going to do all this. And he's like, you just have to ask for help. And so asking for help does take care, it's self-care for sure. Along with that, I'm going to kind of go backwards, I'm going to go counterclockwise, taking a step back and recognizing what's going on outside of it. Sometimes when we're in a highly emotional situation, like trying to do online school while we're working from home, we're right in the middle of it. We can't see, there's high emotions. I have things that I need to do. My child needs me. I feel torn. Emotions get worked up. Their behavior starts happening. But if you can take a step back and you can realize that, oh my goodness, that my child's behavior is actually telling me something. What is it? What do I need to do? Or taking a step back and just doing a body check. Like, how am I feeling? Am I stressed right now? Okay, I need to relax. I need to do some breathing. And we'll talk about breathing in another session. There's some really good breathing techniques that you can do pretty inconspicuously and quickly. So that's kind of nice. Forgive yourself. Oh my goodness, in our breakout room, Holly brought that up about giving yourself grace and forgiving yourself when things don't go well. Like when I was sharing with you guys about my son, after I yelled at him, I had to be able to forgive myself, and I have to model that too. Saying no, ooh, that's a hard one, especially if you like to be involved in things or you feel compelled to be involved in things. But this one, along with this setting boundaries, those go together. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a later session too. Staying at home. Sometimes you don't need to go, but sometimes we might have a little bit too much of staying at home and we need to get out, right? That's kind of maybe where we're all at right now. We want that normal come and go like we've had. Asking for what you need, kind of along the lines of help. So not just asking, I help, I need it, but being specific. What is it that you need from people? And it is okay to put yourself first. It's okay, because just like that image we saw, you have to put on the oxygen mask. You have to take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. Here's some other things that kind of go along with it too. Meditation. I will tell you that I've kind of dabbled in a little bit of meditation. Mine's more along the lines of prayer. But meditation with the actually feeling your senses, being mindful instead of a full mind, those kinds of things, they're really powerful and they are very, very helpful. There's a lot of guided meditations. If you're like, I don't even know, I can't keep quiet, I can't keep my thoughts quiet. There's guided meditation to help you, tons of them online. Staying active. I actually shared this one in our breakout room. Of course, I love exercise for the perks of looking great and all that stuff, but really what it is with exercise is I need it for my mental well-being. I recognize that if I am not physically active, I feel more depressed, I feel down, I feel irritable and impatient, and I recognize that I actually need that active outlet to feel better. Now, I'm not saying that I run to put on my gym shoes and my yoga pants to, woohoo, I get to exercise. No, I'm pulled into it, kicking and screaming. It's not, I don't want to make myself out to be someone I'm not. But I recognize that when I'm feeling down, it's probably because I need to get active, okay? Oh my goodness, this one, avoid news. So I want to challenge you this next few days. As you watch the news or as you're scrolling through social media, check your body. Pay attention. I've started doing that, And I realized, oh my goodness, this really causes a lot of stress in the body. I'll feel like my whole lower half is like just really tight. My legs are tight, my legs are crossed, and my shoulders are raised. And I start feeling different. We have to be really careful. It's good to be informed. We want to be informed. We want to be educated. But it's also important to recognize when it's too much. And I don't know about you guys, but everything with the news and the social media, it's heavy and we need a break from it. And so recognize when it is too much for you. Avoid people pleasing. You know, you've got to recognize too, and this is, I'm saying this, but I'm saying it to myself too. We have to be careful not to do things just so people will be happy and like us, or because they expect it from us, but to really have good boundaries. If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? That's really powerful to ask yourself. If I say yes, I'm saying no to something else, because we do have only so much room on our plates, only so much time in our day. Everything comes at a cost. So challenge yourself there. Ask yourself that. If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? And then weigh it. Okay, make that decision. Talk to loved ones. I said I talked to my husband. I'm very grateful that I have him. I can just be completely honest and vulnerable and share my deepest feelings. It's important that you have someone like that. If it's a friend, if it's, I was fortunate enough at one time to really have a good coworker that was a good friend too. But find those people that you can talk to when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you have a problem with your child or something at work. Talk to people. But here's what I'm going to caution you about. Be careful not talking to everybody about it. Because this is what happens. You relive it. Every time you tell a story about something negative, you are reliving it. And you're causing that maybe even traumatic moment to come over you again. And so it's important to know that you are talking to someone to help care for yourself, not just to spew bleh, right? And isn't that what social media has become? People are just bleh everywhere. And here's the thing about that too, is if you're venting on social media, then here's what happens. Every time you get a comment, every time you get a like, you go back in and you look at it. You go back in and you look at it. Is that helping you deal with the negative? So you're reliving it. You're just reliving it over and over and over. And then it comes back in your memories a year later. Who wants to remember that? Now, I'm not saying don't put anything negative. However, think about, is it helping you? And is it helping anybody else either? We all like to, misery loves company. But, man, it's not good to be bringing everybody in with you. Like, we want to lift each other up, not pull each other down. And then this one, I love this one. I have to tell myself this all the time. Think realistically. Don't panic. Oh my goodness, we've had so much panic for the last 6 months. It's been so wearing on our bodies and our emotional well-being. So here, I'm going to go into this next slide. It goes with it. Why don't you just take a minute and look through these? I'll just give you a minute to read over them. Here in the middle, this is where we want to live. Every time that we venture outside of this, we are compromising our self-care. We are compromising how we react to situations and react to other people and react to our children. So we have to constantly ask ourselves, this is a problem. Is it a problem I can control? Or is it outside of my control? So if it is in your control, you can react to it, you can respond to it, you can have boundaries around it, you can practice gratitude. I know that, you know, there's been a lot online about, you know, right now we're living through a really tough time. But if we stop and we look at all the gifts that we have, I mean, the gift of just slowing down, we're a busy family. And boy, we missed not having our schedule filled with baseball. I missed hearing the crack of a bat. I missed being outdoors and seeing my friends. I missed going to the gym. But what it did was it kept me closer to the people I really love. And so we have to start every situation, we have to look for where's the gift in it, so that we know we can control that. It's going to help us feel better. We can't control, as much as we want, we can't control this pandemic. We can't control whether there's a vaccine. We can't control what people think about it, whether they wear masks or they don't wear masks, whether they want to go back to school in person or they don't want to go back to school in person, whether they'll eat in a restaurant or they haven't set foot out of their kitchen. We can't control those things. We can only control what we feel, what we believe, what we have, the choices we make and how we behave. And so that is key to also our children. We feel like our children sometimes, we can't control them. We can put boundaries around them, but ultimately they have choices. There's something that I have taught my children lately. You are free, this is what I tell them, you are free to make your own choices, but you are not free from the consequences of those choices. And that's something very powerful to teach our children. Because one, it helps them have some agency, I have control and I can do those things. Because you know, the minute they can walk, they're trying, well, even before that, they're trying to get control. They want it. They are constantly putting one foot in front of the other to gain that independence. And that is actually what we want. We want them to grow into that independence, but we also want them to recognize that the choices they make have consequences. Those can be good or they can be bad. So it's really important that we give our children this realm right here and help them recognize when they're venturing out. But first we have to do it ourselves.
Maybe just pose a question to you guys. Somebody share with us something, whether it's in this circle or outside the circle, something that you've been struggling with amidst COVID that you can't control and it causes anxiety. Would anyone like to share?
Probably the one thing that people, I don't know, sometimes, I don't think I struggle with this, what people say in social media and what other people say. Now, because everyone's kind of locked in, you know, people's outlet now is more social media sometimes. And so you see what people say and you're like, oh, I got to jump in and say something. And my wife will probably agree that sometimes I'll go in, I'm like, oh, I got to respond to this. And next thing you know, you're really jumping into a rabbit hole. Because, you know, once you go in, you're like, I can't get out of this. You know, you just have to like throw the phone away, or just go to bed, really, just end everything, you know. And so I mentioned in the chat that I took a 7-day Facebook break and just to like get my sanity back. And so I think that's, you know, that's a thing right now with everyone being kind of quarantined and everything and not really going out, you know, that social media outlet is sometimes good, but also could be really bad sometimes.
Yeah, Michael, I so agree with you. I had to do the same thing so that was, you were practicing self-care. It's important to be able to be mindful of it. And yes, I mean, everything, you know, we could say there's good and there's bad to it, right? Mm-hmm. When it starts, we've got to, if we're able to recognize like you did, that, oh, this is not good. I'm getting triggered by things that people are writing. Man, I want to get in there and get my opinion. But who are we going to convince? Are we really going to convince them? No. Right. Sometimes what I'll do is that if I really feel strongly about something and I start typing and I just don't, and then I delete it.
Yeah.
And that's great for them. It's like, woo. So it kind of helps a little bit. Anybody else want to share?
I think I'll go ahead and share. I think just the fear of really not knowing, like, what this pandemic will result in. What is going to be the outcome? Is the stock market going to crash? Are we going to go through a recession? It doesn't seem like it's really had too much of a downturn in terms of economically, other than people losing, millions of people losing their job, which is huge. But that's almost like, okay, we expected that, right? But there's this really unknown of what is this all going to mean in 2021? Okay, so once we have a vaccine, then what? Will it truly be back to normal? Will we continue to lose our jobs? I mean, you see these restaurants or just shopping malls, and there's closure after closure, and you sometimes it feels like a ghost town in some of the tourist areas, and it just makes you question, where is this all going? So I think for me, it's kind of the long term. What does this all mean?
Right. And when will it end?
Yeah.
Not knowing when it's going to end. It's sometimes when you're going through a difficult time, if you know there's an end in sight, you can manage. But this is just ongoing and ongoing and ongoing and ongoing, and so it's heavy, very heavy. Anybody else?
I think I struggle with decisions that people make. Like at my church, um, everyone's going back to church, and it's a mixed group. Some wear masks, some don't. Some social distance, some don't. So I had to make my own choice. So I step into the things that I can control, and that is whether or not I go. And I don't. But sometimes it bothers me, because I'm thinking, okay, they're thinking, oh, she doesn't trust God, or she doesn't have no faith. No, God gives us wisdom, and I'm choosing to use wisdom.
Absolutely.
Diane, I love that. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, and we can, it almost feels like, oh, just everybody wear masks and then I can come maybe, or we get upset with people, and we do feel that way. But you're right. The thing that you can control is your choice, what you choose to do. And then sometimes, and I am right with you I think, what are people thinking? What do they think? I don't trust God, or in any situation, I think, what are people thinking I'm thinking? But then recognizing, you know what? The only person that cares what I think about God is God, right? Like, that's really the only one that matters. So yeah, recognize, I think you exactly, we're all in the same boat with this. We venture outside of this I can control all the time. And that's because we're human and we want to control everything. If it's in control, if we are controlling everything, we feel safer. There's less unknown. The unknown is scary. But what we have to recognize is that when we venture out here, we're going to get knocked down because we can't control those things. We have to pull ourselves back here, do a lot of self-talk, be mindful of what we're thinking, what we're doing, what we're speaking, and do a reality check. Just do those reality checks, and that helps us. Thank you for sharing, Diane.
Thank you, Diane.
Now, I'll add on to what she said.
Oh, good. Yes.
She just kind of sparked something, because I share Diane's concern, and I have a daughter who has a pre-existing health condition, so I'm a little corona paranoid, if you will. And so as an entrepreneur, I kind of create this space within my agency where we're not open to the public. And so we had a customer who left, and then he just recently came back, and my team is working remotely. He's speaking with a team member on my phone. He wants to come in and personally meet with me and kind of reestablish all of his insurance, which we don't really need to meet with anyone in person to do that. And his comment to her was, I thought Dondrell was a Christian. Why is he not allowing me to come to the office? And it's not something I could control. I thought I had controlled my environment, right, by creating this safe space. And it gives me a break by being able to go to the office. But it really kind of stung a little when he said that. It felt like he was questioning my faith, which I didn't really appreciate. And it kind of got me into this space of, I don't know if we want him as a customer right now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
hard.
so
Wow.
yeah, I can understand what you're saying about that faith piece and how it kind of sprouts up in different areas of your life as we try to collectively work through this pandemic with different ideologies and different values.
That's right.
Right.
That is
Yeah,
right.
and that's exactly right. We all come from our own perspectives and our own experiences, and so we view things differently and we see things, but it's really important to recognize that in others too. Like, you may not see the same way I do. And part of social and emotional learning is being able to recognize different perspectives. And maybe you don't necessarily agree, but you can learn that mutual respect. And, I think we've gotten into this, if you don't believe like I do, then you are wrong and something is wrong with you. Rather than tell me, like, share with me, let's find a connection. We may be on opposite sides on this, but let's find a way to connect. And that's what we're missing as a huge society. We're not finding those connections. And social and emotional well-being is so, we know and we feel good about who we are, we've taken care of ourselves, we are more able to reach out and make connections and see others' perspective. Recognizing that if someone just really sent off a nasty email or sent a text or kind of use some harsh words, step back and looking at what's going on with them. But we're so quick to taking it personal and to be ready to defend ourselves and come back against each other, that what's going on over there? Like, what are they experiencing? What are they feeling? We've lost that in so many ways. And our children need to see us, being able to give other people the benefit of the doubt and to look at people and say, you know what? They're doing the best they can. Instead of taking everything so personally. I have a son that works in customer service he's now back employed because he works at the movie theaters, but he would come home with stories about how people were so rude. And I said, you can't control how they are, but you can control how you respond. You never know what they're going through. You never know. You'll never know what happened that morning or happened on the way in. You don't know what's going on in their life. Behavior is a message, whether it's a behavior from your child or behavior from others. It's a message of something that they need. Behavior covers need. And so it's important to, like, that man, he probably needs prayer. I don't know.
And Dondrell, I wanted to speak to that. And not that I'm trying to convince you that he can be a customer, but I'm in a season of my life where I'm always about speaking my truth. This is because I think this is something that I've really had to work on, being a Filipino, but having grown up in the West, I felt like I've always had a conflict between, my culture versus the West. And one of those was speaking, because in our culture, you only speak when you're asked, or you definitely let your elders speak, and then you just remain silent, that kind of thing. So if I were to speak into your situation, again, because I'm in the season where it's just so important for me to speak my truth, I would send him an email and I would say something like, I understand, or one of my representatives mentioned your concern of me not wanting to meet with you, but I just wanted to explain why, and then talk about, you know, your daughter, and again, not to defend yourself, not to have an explanation that he deserves, and you know, any of that, but it's for you, right? That is the truth, and you need to hear the truth. So anyway, I just that's what I would do.
Sure.
And I was going to say also to Dondrell that, you know, that it's a perfect time to practice self-care, right? Because you could fall into the people pleasing and just automatically want to have him as a customer. But you're saying, well, you can actually sit in choice. Do I really need him as a customer? Once you have that, I agree, Marissa, like you have that conversation maybe. And then if he's still a little ruffled, you have the choice to say, you know what, no, I don't need this person as my customer now. And that could actually be practicing some good self-care and just having that awareness around it of what is your need, what feels comfortable for you within that situation once you've had that conversation with them.
Yeah. I think that's good feedback, and I appreciate it. This conversation is somewhat full circle for me. I spent a lot of years of my life in corporate America, and I spent a lot of years feeling like I was always compromising who I was as a person in this society. And it's like the higher you go, the less of yourself you get to bring authentically into the spaces that you work on a daily basis. And so one of the commitments I made when I became an entrepreneur 15 years ago was that I declared myself free to bring my authentic self into my workspace. But I did find myself compromising at times in order to grow a business. And so it's come full circle that I'm now back to being, you know, this is me and this is who I am. And I want to attract those who can appreciate that as clients, so I can always be comfortable walking in my truth. And so that's why for me with him, it was like, well, I don't know if I really want him as a customer because I'm tired of compromising who I am in that way. And so, you know, I don't always need to give voice to that to the person, but I do need to be comfortable with how I'm choosing to function and operate. And frankly, I'm very comfortable with who that is. And I think there's a space for me to be a very successful business with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's awesome.
That is great.
Thank you guys for sharing. I want to just kind of leave this little section before we move on with this. I thought this was very powerful. It's written by Sarah Waters. It's an excerpt. The emphasis and the highlighting is ours. It's not hers, but she's a counselor over at Red Rocks Counseling. And I just thought this was so powerful. We're, you know, always want the best for our children. We always do. And we're worried, right? We worry about how much school they've missed or how this online learning is affecting them, or, you know, like how their lack of social, you know, setting is affecting them. We worry about our kids. But here is what is in our control. So I love this. It says the number one most determining factor of your child's 2020 experience is your ability to manage your own discomfort. Your children hear you talk even when you aren't talking to them. Isn't that when they listen the most? If I get quiet and talk to my husband, oh boy, what did you say, huh? But if I say, can you take out the trash? They don't hear it, right? So they hear you complain. They hear you vent. They watch your facial expressions when you're on a phone call or responding to an email or social media post on your computer. They can feel, they can sense when you're relaxed or whether you're in a state of stress. Like it or not, they feel what you feel. Our reactions, how we think, speak, and behave that result from those emotions and opinions, however, have all the power in the world to bless or burden other people, including our own kids. So a very powerful reminder right there. And with that, I would love to turn it over to Michael to talk to us more about the importance of connection.
So Michael, maybe I'll just introduce how we got to this topic. So you were sharing with me a couple of weeks ago that you notice a huge difference when you are emotionally connected with a student before you just get right in there in the academics. So share that story and encourage parents to be able to do the same.
Okay. So I had a student, it was last year, and you know, being when COVID happened, you know, everything I'm doing is virtual. So, but last year, and ever since I've been doing tutoring, I do in-home tutoring. And I've always, and I think just last year, I think I kind of really look back at what families, what students, what did I feel, and were the students actually more emotionally connected, or actually just I would say better students, but just more comfortable, more open when I got there. And it was just mainly the ones where I was actually at the house working with them, because you're in the house, you know, you see how they live, they see you, and you're actually almost like part of the family, especially if you're going there twice a week. There's been a couple of families like that. I've had one mom, she'd make me a snack every time I was there. And it would be snack time for me and the student. And one of the students, and actually this is kind of off the other, the student I had in mind I was talking about, I have another one. And he was actually one of my first students, and had a little bit of ADHD. And so and he was one of my first students. And so I didn't know how to handle that really. So I did a little bit of research, and I knew that, okay, they're a lot of praise, physical touch. So we had like a handshake at the end, like, you know, he made up, he wanted to do a handshake at the end. And so he loved that. And so, and the thing was just that connection of just having a special handshake at the end, that's just our handshake, you know, at the end of every session. He looked forward to that. And it was like a way with it to close out our session, like we're done. And then fast forward, actually, this was a referral. She referred me to another, the mom referred me to another parent. And this student, after just talking to her, because this is just one time, we just started talking. We were doing our session, and we just started talking about just school and kind of how she got to where she was. She ended up moving schools last year. She ended up going from Desert Vista to, I forgot what, oh my gosh, I forgot what's in Tempe. Corona. Yeah, Corona. And I just asked why. I was like, why'd you end up moving? And because it was her senior year, and so that's kind of a big deal. And so she said, yeah, I was being bullied. And we just kind of talked about that really for the next 15 minutes. Like, well, like I kind of wanted to delve into that I know it wasn't probably good business sense to do that, but in terms of just knowing the kid and the fact that she told me that meant a lot. And then I was like, tell me about that. You know, why was she bullying you? And you know, I think kids, they really don't know why other kids do things, because they're kids. You know, as adults, we kind of have a little more way of kind of reading people and kind of knowing why. And plus, we're adults, we've kind of been through that. You know, bullying hasn't changed. Well, now the cyberbullying, but bullying hasn't changed since beginning of time, really. But people will bully other people because, number one, they're jealous, or maybe it's jealousy, or they just don't like you for some reason, or they just have something going on in their own life. And so after we had that session, her mom, next session we came back, she was like, she's really down. Can you just talk to her? And then she's like, doesn't matter if you want to talk about SAT. If you just want to talk, she's just really having a hard time right now. And we spent the entire hour, then it actually ended up being 2 hours, just talking about what's going on in her life. You know, the bullies, her friends, changing schools and things like that. And she was just very, very confused. And so fast forward, once it got past that, she was almost like, I would say she was kind of over all that. She kind of realized, like, and also because the girl that was bullying her, she was also one of my students too. So I didn't tell her the girl that was, she knew that she was she knew that she was my student, but I didn't tell her that, you know, what the other girl had told me, because I want to keep everything separate. But one thing I did tell her, I said, I reminded her, I said, do you remember I said when kids are jealous, they bully you because they're jealous? And all I said was, just remember that, because it was true. Because this girl had a lot more going on than the other girl. She was very, very smart, worked very good in swimming and everything, popular. And this other girl didn't really have any of that. and it was just jealousy. And, I kind of want to reassure that. And after that, she was just way, way more open, and just sharing what was going on in her life. And, like I said, she was a senior. And so with all my seniors, I always give them a card and a gift card after for their graduation. And I do actually deliver it to them. So I delivered to her house, just left at their house. And I told her, keep in touch. And I actually, when I, usually my seniors, I'll have a group text with the parents. And so I also sent her a really good text about, told her the progress she made that year was astounding, and how proud I am of her and everything she's accomplished this year. And not just academically, but just socially and mentally, because mentally, the whole mental part of being in school, and I think you touched on that in the beginning, is very, very important, because if they don't have the mental part, if they're not mentally engaged, or they have too much going on outside of school, then it's so hard to actually concentrate on school. And especially with her being bullied and things like that, and her senior year going to a different school, that really affected her, and she's a really smart girl. And so her grades went down because she's trying to adjust to another school. And then all of a sudden she was bullied at the first school. Now she's being bullied again at the second school. So it was really hard for her. And then, her mom told me after we had that long talk, things started get a lot better with her afterwards. And she said that just having someone to listen to her was really, really important, because sometimes kids, they don't, it's hard to talk to their parents. It's very, very hard, because you see them all the time. Then all of a sudden, here I come. I'm not a parent, and I'm not their parent, and I'm not their friend. That's the one thing as a tutor, or even as a mentor, I always I've learned as a mentor is you're not their friend and you're not their parent. You're in between. And so you want to be able to create that space to be able to let them talk. And so, what you said earlier about talking to your kids about when you mess up, that's kind of giving that opening of saying, hey, I'm not perfect at this, but still saying why you messed up, but also giving them a chance to actually talk. And I think when you said that you guys had that long discussion about carpet and things like that, that really opened up. I feel just by listening to you say that opens up like a channel for them to kind of open up about what's going on in their lives and what they're doing. And I think kids need that. They need to have something, and a channel to open up. And parents can do that. It's tough, I think, as being their parent, because you don't want to cross that line of now they're their friend. But kids will say, yeah, that's my best friend. But that's okay, I think, when they're older, as they're adults. But when they're kids and they're, elementary, middle school, high school, I think there has to be some kind of barrier there, because you're still their parent. You still got to be able to tell them, hey, you're screwing up, and having them to respect you, because that's the biggest thing for me as a tutor. They have to be able to respect you. Okay. And that's a big thing in terms of respecting and trusting you. When they talk to you, they have to be able to trust that you're not just going to lecture them or try to solve it for them. They just want something just to get it off their chest. And I think that's really important.
So what I hear you saying, Michael, is maybe the greatest gift we can give as parents to our children is just to listen to them, is that listening ear, no judgment, just listen, right? Yeah. And so it's easier said than done, but I think if parents are intentional about it, I think it's totally doable. Just one day, one step forward every single day, just to listen. And I know for me, I have to really intentionally do it. Like, just I'm talking to myself. No, don't talk, because I think as parents we just want to. We want to say whatever it is we want to say, and it's so much harder to stay silent and to just let them speak and let them be heard.
And sometimes they talk themselves into their own solution too.
You're right.
They'll find themselves talking about it, and they're like, what, this is what I can do. And I've had kids actually do that when I talk to them, even just recently, about how things are going on in school, and they miss the social connection, and they'll start talking about it, and they say, yeah, maybe I should do a group video call or a Zoom or something with my friends. I'm like, yeah, that's what you should do it, And so, and sometimes, like I said, they'll talk themselves into their own solutions.
Absolutely. Well, I want to give a little shout out to you too, Michael Bond, who's the owner of First Place Tutoring of Arizona. In light of COVID, Michael, business has probably just sprung up. What services and what offerings do you provide for parents, especially during the pandemic?
All my tutoring that I do personally, I do it all virtually. So, and I specialize in math myself. I have other tutors that specialize in reading, and in English and science. And so, for me, and as the owner of the company, and all my tutors are independent contractors, so I can't tell them to not tutor in person. But I can advise them, hey, I suggest you probably tutor virtually. That's all I could really say as an independent, hiring as independent contractors. But I also provide them with, I also point them in the direction of these are the kind of tools that you can use. This is what I use, and I show them what I use to tutor virtually. I have like an online whiteboard where I can actually write, and they can see it, and they can also write stuff back. I had a kid today doing Euclidean geometry, which is extremely hard. I don't know why I'm tutoring that, but he had homework. I wanted to give him homework because he has a long weekend. He didn't really have homework to go over in our tutoring session. I said, you know what? I'm gonna give you homework for this weekend. And so I couldn't really find anything online that I liked. So I just wrote it out myself and put it on the whiteboard and emailed it to the mother and said, have them go on the whiteboard, complete these problems. And so there's a lot of different tools out there, but the one I found was really good. And I think it makes it easier too, in terms of it's not as stressful to be driving in between students all the time, because I can actually tutor more students in a day instead of driving in between classes and things like that. So I focus more on math. Also tutor SAT prep, math. I've also done SAT prep for writing and essays also in the past 7 years. So I think Awatuki area. I live in Awatuki. And so I've probably in that Awatuki area, just personally, I probably worked with about probably 200 kids over the last 7 years. Within my company, we probably worked with about 300 some kids, I think.
That's excellent. Well, Michael Bond of First Place Tutoring of Arizona, and we will get this recording out to everyone who's signed up, so they will also get all your information in that email. So thank you, Michael Bond.
Michael, I want to commend you because you're in the business of academics, right? But you recognize the connection that's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
That young girl that needed someone to talk to, you probably were able to accomplish more academically because you took the time to meet the social and emotional needs. And that's what we forget. It feels time like, oh my goodness, I only have this much time. But by valuing that, you valued her. And so she was in a better headspace. So she was better able to learn. Yeah. And that's the key. I mean, that's the key for all of us, right? We need to be in a good headspace so that we can learn. So I commend you for that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You should definitely share that with all of your tutors. So, I move you guys, my view of you all the way around, so I can fix that. Okay. So I want to share with you a few things that you are kind of takeaways for your kids. Simplify and relax your standards. So basically say, I'm not homeschooling. I'm doing my best to help my kids learn at home during a crisis. Completely different than homeschooling. Okay? I am not working from home. I'm doing my best to work at home during a crisis. I cannot be as productive as normal because these are not normal times. I will focus on what I can accomplish in just the next 24 hours and let go of what I cannot accomplish right now. This one, I'm not working from home. I'm doing my best to work at home during a crisis. Made me think of you, Cherie, and what you were saying about us being able to see each other and what that looks like in our homes and empathize. So here are some suggestions, okay? They're just some suggestions to think about, to try maybe with your own kids at home, but structure and schedule, okay? Most children, if not all, thrive on structure. What structure does, even though they'll resist it, even though they might talk back or have meltdowns or throw fits, the sense of a structure actually gives them safety. It creates a boundary so they know how far they can go and where their parameters are. So a schedule can do that, can help them keep in line a little better. Involve your child in creating a schedule. When a child helps create it, there's more buy-in and they feel valued. So I have a 5th grader and I have a sophomore, and then I have college. My college age student, I don't discuss schedule with him. He is an adult. He's got to figure that out. I'm a consultant now at this point, right? I was a parent, but now I'm a consultant. Okay, my sophomore, what I do with him is I let him go until it doesn't work. And then I bring him back and I help support him and get him back on track. Right now, he said, Mom, I've got this online schedule, I've got it. Well, found out he was missing some assignments. So sat him down last night. How is it working for you? The way you're doing it, how is it working? Well, it's not. Okay, so that's an indication that something needs to change. Would you like my help? Oh, I've got it. Okay. So there's differences for different ages. Now I've got 5th grader. There's a little bit more mama say and daddy say in that one because we are growing him and teaching him. So at different levels, you want to honor where they're at. But here's really important. Allow flexibility in time and activity. And this is my absolute favorite. Allow for breaks and emotional checkpoints throughout the day. Stop and think about how your child's behaving right then. Do you hear them sighing? Do you hear them, ugh? Whoops, did I just, I don't know what I just did there. Hold on.
And while Christy's figuring that out, just a point on the structure and flexibility.
There it is. Sorry, go ahead, Marisa.
Yeah, on the flexibility, I cannot stress that this is so important. Please do not treat your school day like you would as if they were in school. That just give yourself so much grace. I mean, this is the opportunity to just do whatever needs to work at this time during this pandemic. So, for example, if you are a working parent, you've got to work pretty much straight 7 to 8 hours. I mean, there are no breaks in between. There's got to be like 15, 20-minute breaks. And this is something that you have to think about way ahead of time. You know, preferably on a Sunday where you're planning the rest of the week. You know where your meetings are. But if there's any time during that day from 9 to 9:20 where you can just sit in the presence of your child, you know, put the phone down, do not check email, do not be distracted, straight 20 minutes. You can do a lot in 20 minutes. You really can. So it's doable. It's just not going to look anything like what you think, or definitely not like what it was before. So get rid of all those expectations. Just do your very best with what you have and plan that structure. Even if it's just 20 minutes a day, or maybe it's 20 minutes from 8:40 to 9, and then another 20 minutes from 2 to 2:20. I mean, that's okay. Because you are a working person and you got to get stuff done. And if you don't want to get fired, because then you can't put food on the table. I mean, we all get it. And so I'm just saying, allow yourself to be flexible, still plan, and do just whatever you can.
Thank you, Marisa. Yes, and remember, it's not an 8-hour school day. Embrace this flexibility. Like this, never, probably again, hopefully not, other period of time, but are we going to have this opportunity to see our children learning as students? Like usually they're at school. We don't get to see them as students. We're given this gift of all of a sudden seeing a whole new side of our children. And here's the best thing, you guys. By having these emotional checkpoints throughout the day, we can teach them social and emotional skills that they're going to take with them when they go back to school. Let me give you a quick example. my youngest, he struggles a little bit with anxiety and perfectionism, and he can get very, very emotional. And what he'll do is he'll shut down and get distracted by everything else. He won't do his assignment. Everything else is calling his attention. And so what we've done is I've talked to him about how to focus. And we use something that he could relate to. He loves Fortnite. He plays Fortnite. I've played with him, not good at all, but he loves it, right? It's not my favorite thing to do, but I do it for him. So I used the example of, I said, you know, when mom goes to shoot things, he said, you destroy everything. I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm pushing buttons like crazy because I don't know the buttons. I don't know what works. And I'm just shooting everything. And he said, yeah, remember when you shot yourself? I'm like, yeah. Or you blew up yourself. So he was engaged with me. I used something that was connected to. And I said, well, that's kind of how things are going right now. You're just kind of shooting at everything. You're not really getting anything done. You're overwhelmed and you can't focus and get anything accomplished. You're not going to be successful if you're feeling overwhelmed. So I said, what you need to do is pick one thing and I said, what is it called when you like have the target? And it's what, of course, he was real thrilled to teach me. He's like, it's hard scope. And I said, okay, you need to hard scope this problem right here. Start small, chunk it, hard scope that problem. So now every time that I see him kind of starting to drift off, or I'll say hard scope, and he gets right back to it. And in fact, last night he did it to me. So yeah, so I could tell he's learning, but here's the gift. What I teach him now, when he goes back into school or one day into the workplace, he's going to remember these lessons and this time, and he's going to be able to use it so that he can get through things that are difficult. We have an incredible opportunity if we see it like that. So here's another few little tips, and then I want to move on. Get ahead of the meltdowns. Yours, because we all have them, and theirs. Children communicate through behavior. They may be overwhelmed or flooded with emotions. Practice empathy. I love this. I need this tattooed on my, I guess I wouldn't want it on my forehead because then I wouldn't be able to read it, but I need it everywhere. My child is not giving me a hard time. They are having a hard time. Do you see how the mindset just switches right there? Behavior is communication, and my child is telling me they need support. The teachable moment about behavioral expectations is never in the hot moment. I must calm my child through empathy first. Wonderful things to remember. Have calming strategies planned beforehand. We've talked about, we have dogs. He loves to go and play with the dogs for a few minutes. Love on the dogs, go outside. We took a walk around the block one time, and I did the 5 senses. I said, what are 5 things you see that are green? What are 5 things you hear right now? What are 5? It's just that trick of getting them out of that anxiety, out of that pressure, out of that emotion. And then be your child's role model. When you get it right, share with them. When you get it wrong, share with them. So these are some things to come. We're going to be talking about if you'd like to join us at another time. So I'll let you look at that. But I want to make sure that we give Dondrell some important time. I'm anxious to hear about this, actually. So let's sit back and just play it.
So Dondrell Swanson, a State Farm agent for the last 15 years, has his office right in Gilbert, Arizona. And so Dondrell, my gosh, you must be flooded with calls, especially when COVID first happened, right? I mean, oh my gosh, how am I going to be able to pay this, especially those who lost their jobs? So just tell us, Dondrell, what should we know about our insurance premiums, whether we're with State Farm, or I won't even mention your competition, but with any other insurance premium agent company, what do we need to know at this time?
Thank you for the question. And my answer is going to be a little bit non-traditional because I think the first thing you need to know is that you have a person that you can trust. So whatever questions that you may need to call and ask and consider relative to your insurance, have someone there that you can trust. And it kicks the relationship off in a whole different light because whatever information is coming to you, you can have a sense of confidence that what you're being told is something that you can as they used to say in the old days, stick your teeth in, if you will. So about insurance premiums, a lot of the insurance companies over the past few months have been providing some COVID-19 relief by way of discounts or rebates or dividend credits. And so just about every major company that I can think of has been doing something in that space, which is great. Many of us are not commuting anymore. We're staying at home, and we do have different classifications for driving based upon the number of miles you drive. So it may be a great conversation to have with whomever your insurance provider is, to say, hey, I'm not driving as much right now. Can we have my vehicle reclassified? And then to not worry, because once you go back to driving on a regular basis, you can always readjust your policy at that time. But go ahead and put the money in your pocket. Take advantage of the savings during this period of time where you're not driving as much. Some of the families really don't need to be accessing two cars right now, because the majority of what they do can be accomplished in one car, or maybe they have three, they can do it in two vehicles. And in that case, you can put you can suspend the coverage on that vehicle that's not being driven, but you do want to maintain, if it's a vehicle that has value or worth, you want to maintain comprehensive coverage on, because that way, if it gets stolen or if it gets vandalized, you will still have coverage for that. But you don't need to maintain liability coverage on the vehicle because it's not going to be on the road. You could put the dust cover on that one, put it away, and again, put that money into your pocket. And since we're talking about things like enrichment programs and education right now, you could repurpose that money in that way. What are some other things that are relative to your insurance premiums? And what I found a lot of clients doing right now, it's a great time to schedule an appointment and have a conversation with your insurance provider to say, you know, I've been really busy, but now that I've got some time, what does this mean? You know, I find that we have a lot of clients that signed up. You'd be amazed at how many people I say, well, tell me about how you chose this coverage. And they go, well, I don't know. The person I talked to just recommended, and that's just what I went with. And I've had it ever since, right? And sometimes ever since for a 55-year-old person is when they were 16 or 17 years old. Or it's, hey, that's what my parents had. That's what they told me to get when I first moved out of the house. And so that's what I've always had. And honestly, it's likely that if you've had the same kind of coverage for 20 or 25 years, you may not be covered correctly, or maybe early in life you were significantly overinsured, and maybe you want to know that, maybe you don't. But it is a great opportunity to just go back and reevaluate, what do I have, and is it what I would choose now that I'm of age and of sound mind to make this decision for myself. And obviously, if it goes back to my aforementioned point, that if you have someone you trust, that's a great conversation you can have with them. If you don't have someone you trust, it may be an opportunity to kind of think, I get a lot of phone calls from people who are friends or friends of friends who know I'm in the business, and they ask me some very intimate questions like, hey, is this covered? Or what should I do in this particular situation? And I always ask, well, why can't you call and ask your agent that? And if they can't do so, that is not good. Because those intimate conversations are what you're paying that agent to be able to have a conversation with you about. So in summary, definitely take advantage of this opportunity to have an appointment and ask the question, what do I have and what does this mean to me? If you have an opportunity to save some money, take advantage of it. Reduce your mileage. Reduce the coverage on a car while it's not being driven. Another thing that I might suggest you consider is a lot of companies are getting into these programs called telematics. And what that means is there's some kind of a beacon or a little active mechanism that you can put in your car that would essentially track your mileage. And the minute you say track, a lot of people go, yeah, no, thank you. I would offer you a couple of thoughts on that, though. One is when you're not really driving, it's a great time to take advantage of a program like that. And again, none of this stuff is permanent, so you can take it out in the future. The other thing I would tell you is that for 95% of us, our phones are gathering far more information than we would be comfortable with already. And whatever those telematics devices are doing is less than your phone is doing. But again, it's an opportunity to save some money for you. And your final question that you have here is, what should this pandemic teach us? And I don't think I have anything new that I haven't offered already, which is if you don't have a reliable source that is for your insurance that you trust, if no other time, the pandemic should teach you the value and the importance of that. One of the questions I ask my clients quite frequently, they own a home. I say, well, you own your home, and I'll ask, what's your largest investment? And needless to say, for most people, their home is their largest investment. And I say, well, if that home were to burn down, who would you call? Do you want to call some random individual that you may never speak with again when your largest investment is at risk? Or would you like to have somebody you trust to work with? And the pandemic, I think, teaches us that, because the challenges of these times mean that you need to have reliable resources around you. Thank you. I hope that answers the question.
That's awesome. Yes, absolutely. So Dondrell, really what you're saying is everyone should pick up the phone and really talk to their insurance agent, because there's probably some discounts that they're unaware of. We're all driving less.
Absolutely.
And then I love what you just said about, maybe we don't need 4 cars right now. Maybe we only need the 1 or 2, and the savings. It's just time to rethink those strategies. It is kind of a new norm. So awesome. Thank you so much. We'll bring it back to you, Chrissy. Oh, and by the way, so if you want more information on Dondrell, and if you want that personal touch, and he's been doing it for the last 15 years, we're going to have all his information in the email that we send you along with this recording. So
I love that. Thank you, Dondrell. That was really, like Marisa said, I hadn't even thought about like the driving less or the little tracker things. Like, what a great time that would be to have it now, because then it looks really good. Your driving looks really good. So good ideas. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
So kind of in closing, the main thing is be kind to yourself and to others. Through the development of self-awareness, self-care habits, perseverance, and resilience, we will help you and your children stay connected and live happier and more peaceful lives. Just want to thank you all for being here and sharing in this night with us, sharing your ideas, sharing your thoughts. It was always nice I think sometimes when I set out to teach something, I always learn. So thank you for sharing.
thank you, everybody. The next Parent Huddle will be on October 1st, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. So we hope that you'll be there and you'll get all that information and registration and sign up. So just be aware in your inbox. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Chrissy.
Thank you. You too. Thank
Excellent.
you.
Good night. I enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you, Diane. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Diane.
And you too, Marissa. Well coordinated. I thought you wanted me to talk about college savings accounts. I was like, wait a minute.
Thank you for being so fluid. So I left you a message, a voicemail with somebody who answered, and said, "Did you please have Dondrell call me?" And so, anyway, I loved how you just naturally got into it. I felt like those particular questions were more relevant. And so I'm actually glad that we talked about that, but you did fabulous considering.
Well, yeah, kind of what we're doing on a daily basis. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't get back with you. Was that today?
That was this morning, yes. And she was so kind. She said you were on the phone, and not a big deal. Again, you were smooth. So sorry to throw that little spin there, but I just
thought it worked out fine.
Yeah,
no worries.
Yeah, because the more I sat on it with the 5:29 and 5 to 7 minutes of that, people don't even have monies to, you know,
In some cases, that's true. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was actually thinking about. Like, they don't have this extra money to think about 529 savings plans.
Right.
So I thought this was much more relevant to what we're
You
doing.
know what I think too is very powerful is that when you're willing to give people tips, even if you're not their agent, like if you're encouraging them, it shows that you care about people first. And so I think that is wonderful. So thank you for being that way.
Well, thank you. It's true. You know, our business gets a bad rep from people who don't necessarily have an interest in people. And so it's really important for us to be there and to be a resource. And some of our companies are kind of built around being a local business and connecting within our communities. So it's really important that we have integrity within our communities and that we are a resource.
You know, Dondrell, the insurance industry has become so complex. There's so many more options. I mean, you see it in the commercials and you're just get overwhelmed. Like, okay, so I can pay for only what I use, you know?
Right, yeah, it's true.
I think you can, like, whoa, there could be a lot of topics that you could cover, like multiple topics over time about the insurance industry and where it's headed. And I just decipher it all for us in easy terms. Like, what are our options?
And I could be the poster child for what not to do with insurance, because we actually had a fire in our house last summer, and it was just the worst experience all the way around. And we didn't, all the things you're saying, I didn't know my adjuster. We'd had it for 20 years or more, just signed up the first time and never did anything more. And just didn't get a very accommodating adjuster or claims agent. It's been a struggle. And we're not done with it. We're still trying to pull some more out of it. But we are back at our house now.
Don't tell me you're with State Farm.
No, we are not.
Well, but you're back in your home.
We are, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, wow, what a difficult time to work through. I'm so glad that you're smiling and feeling better about this. That's just a very challenging circumstance to work through.
Yeah, it was one of the hardest things we've kind of ever been through. Yeah. Wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I've walked through this with a few folks, you know, and most of our clients think, well, my house will never burn down. I don't have to worry about that, you know.
Yeah.
And most of them are right? 15 years, I've had 4 homes burned down, but we've dealt with a lot of kitchen fires, a lot of garage fires, but
ours was a garage fire.
Yours was a garage.
And then smoke damage in the entire house. So they had to, pull all the ceilings out, and we were out. We were out for about 3.5 months. Yeah. Yeah.
So we've dealt with a lot more of those, but then we've had some. One of my favorite stories is that I had a friend of mine is an agent in California, and he's got this client who owns several properties. He lives in California, but he owns a townhouse here in Arizona. And he called me one day and he says, hey, can you take care of my friend? He was trying to refinance this townhome, and he discovered that he doesn't have insurance. He didn't even realize it. And so we took care of him, and we put insurance on his townhome, and the next week it burned down.
Wow.
The next week it burned down. And he was just, oh my God, what would I have done had I not been trying to refinance the property, right? But we were able to walk through and get him taken care of. But every time is a unique situation, and it is just pure turmoil in those first few days. I was watching the news one morning, and I saw this lady sitting on a curb, and the news was talking to her, and she was talking about her mom's house burned down, and they had 5 dogs and what to do with the dogs, and just, she's crying and just heartbroken. And I got to the office and found out that was my client's daughter that I was watching on the news. And they did have 5 dogs, but they didn't have, everything got burned in the house. They didn't have IDs. I gave them a check for $10,000 to just carry them over, and she couldn't cash it. You know, 3 cars were in the garage that burned down, so they had no vehicle, and we couldn't get them a rental car. It's very difficult circumstances, right? But you know, through some local relationships we had with different places, we were able to try and get them some assistance. But you know, without an ID and everything, it's difficult to work through.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you all. I don't want to keep you telling you insurance stories all night.
It's okay.
Well, be well, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Bell.
Good night.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Good night.
And thanks again for the prayer.
Absolutely. All right. Carlene, you were quiet. It's okay. It's okay. I hope we didn't hog it for you. Can you unmute, Carlene?
Maybe that's why.
Hey. Now that wasn't the reason, was it?
No,
Oh.
no.
Whoa.
Muted me or something. Muted.
You know what? I had to mute everybody except me and Christy because did you notice I was hearing feedback?
Yeah.
I was hearing feedback. Like, I don't know what it was. Yeah.
I'm still hearing feedback.
Yeah, me too. It never went away.
I'm wondering,
I'm like,
from what I've understood, like the different meetings that I've been in, if you just have your own computer giving sound to you, you will get that feedback, or other people will. But like, I have my little earpiece in. If you have an earphone in, it won't. You don't get that. And I think maybe when you had your mic plugged in, Marissa, yours wasn't doing that either.
Oh, okay. Excellent. That's good
okay, so
to know.
So
So if I be honest, I think I don't know how I sounded, but maybe Chrissy, I'll work on your sound.
Is it still low?
It's just not crisp. I'm kind of into the video and the audio part of it too. I would have liked it a little bit more crisper. So it was a little like low and a little bit muffled. Did you guys think that, Pauline?
I didn't notice that with Chrissy.
Oh, really?
I didn't notice it.
Really?
It sounded clear.
Oh, yeah. I thought maybe if we try a mic next time, Chrissy, like that mic.
Do you remember you gave me that mic to try? And the problem is my desktop doesn't have a camera, so I have a webcam. And so the webcam has a microphone, so you can't do both.
Oh, okay, okay.
So that's the problem with it.
So you guys don't hear kind of the tunnely sound, Chrissy? No.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear. She sounded
just my ear. I have kind of like not sensitive, but I tend to notice because I do voiceover work, so I have to be picky with the audio, I guess. So so maybe for you guys, like, oh, it's fine, but I think it could be, yeah, more crystal clear. That's what I noticed. Oh, I'm getting feedback again.
So when I talk, do you hear the feedback also?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just did too, yeah. Weird.
But it wasn't that bad during the presentation.
No, I didn't hear it at all during the presentation.
I just heard a little, and then that's when I would go in and I muted everybody. Yeah, I muted everybody. And when I did, then it all went away. So.
Okay.
And Holly, you were definitely meant to be here. Well done.
I know. I'm like, Holly's like, I don't know. I'll look at you.
And
I love.
She was awesome in breakout too. I was in a breakout room with her.
Oh,
yeah, Christy and I are in the breakout.
We were with Dondrell, the three of us. We're like,
oh, really?
Yeah, that's funny.
That is funny. I'm not too surprised, you know, people, when I sent out from my list, I wrote in there, just sign up anyway, because we'll give you the recording. So that might be
Right.
the reason why a lot of people signed up. And because I did want to give them the recording, you know, just I kind of thought about Chrissy's, you know, it might be too long, but at least they have the recording, they'll get what they need. Or just, you know, people will sign up, more likely to sign up if they know, oh yeah, I just want the recording. I know some people from the Philippines emailed me and said, I just signed up not to attend, but for the recording. So yeah, so that's okay, and that's good, because we could still promote the two guys, Dondrell and Michael, who are, I hope they'll continue to work with us. They're awesome guys. Yeah. Carlene, you're a little quiet.
I'm right. This is my downtime.
It's late for you, huh?
Late, it's after 10, and then I forgot to have any coffee. I didn't get the coffee. I was thinking about it earlier, so this is my time when I'm just like, I'm more energetic.
Oh, so this is a hard time for you.
So I had forgot, I was going to make coffee earlier, and I totally forgot, and I was all excited, and then I forgot I should have had something.
Oh.
A little bit energy, a little bit more energetic.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm getting tired. My voice you can hear it in my voice. This is like
Right.
I'm a morning person, not a day. You know,
Oh, right.
Yeah, and it's late for you right now, huh?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 11. Wait, no, 10:30.
After 10.
10:30. Yeah, almost 10.
Yeah, and I don't stay up late, but
yeah.
so that's kind of, so my energy. I didn't really realize, I'm like, I am tired. Like I'm getting tired.
Oh, well, that's okay. I mean, so real quick, just one little comment or feedback, maybe one positive, one constructive from you guys, just so how can we move forward? I'll start out. I loved it. I thought it was great, especially for our first one. Oh my goodness. Very little technical glitches, if at all, other than the feedback, and then maybe crisper audio. That'll take a little work, because like I even tried my microphone and it wasn't, then I couldn't hear any of you guys, so that needs to be fixed. Maybe just a time thing, you know, it was really hard to know. Like I was always looking at the time, but I just could not, like, okay, is this good? Should we speed up? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I was texting you in the breakout room. Can you take this out of breakout room? This is really long.
I was gonna text her too. I was like, oh
good. We had talkers in ours. That's why
did you?
I felt like, in fact, I had to say, well, can you just share in the group, because I saw your text, Chrissy, and I used that as the excuse. Anyway, so
yeah, maybe you have to like set a timer on your phone or something.
Yeah.
Can you set a timer on the actual breakout room that it can be a certain amount of time, or do you have to physically go in and bring them back?
No, I think you can. I know you can, because I read it in the instructions, but it wouldn't let me, because Chrissy, do you get, are you allowed to put a time? Because it doesn't ask me.
You know what you can do is, I set a timer on my phone, but if you say spend 30 seconds sharing something that's supposed to be quick, then you can send a little message like, if there's a group of 4, you should be halfway done by now, and then send out the minute. Because sometimes when I had the first time I did it, I had the timer on for how long I wanted, but then when I hit it, it was like, oh, now it's an extra minute. I was like, ooh, it's too long. So always just think about that minute is in there, that if they need it, then they can have it. If they don't, they can come right back to you.
Okay.
So that's the nice thing.
Okay. Work that out.
But yeah, that part was a little tricky.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt like okay, I need to speed this up. Like we need to get going. We need to get going.
Right.
So, yeah.
Look at the time. Like, okay, moving.
Yeah.
And then forgot. So.
So
Mm.
as you can see, I'm done.
Yeah, I
It
know.
was good.
You
I'm
did a
really
great
proud.
job, Chrissy.
Yes,
Hey,
Chrissy
thank
was
you.
great. It was
It was
great.
relaxed. It wasn't, I felt like it was relaxed. It wasn't this high pressure. I think everybody enjoyed it.
Good.
That was it.
Good.
Everybody participated. So, and we got
I
it
hope
together.
so.
So,
It's hard. It's hard to know because, like, when you're doing the Zoom calls, you're looking in the camera, so you can't react to any facial feedback or anything. You know, it's really like if I look at you guys, I don't look like I'm looking at you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I kept
Right.
trying to move the people right in view of my camera, but and then I got carried away and flipped hands, and I don't know what I did to my.
Wow.
That was a little scary moment when it all went white.
That was.
Oh yeah, right. Yes.
I was surprised how quickly you got back on.
Yeah, I was gonna. You brought it
I
right back.
literally was in my head, please Lord, please Lord, please Lord, let this work. Because I don't know what's next on this slide. I don't know if I can improvise. So.
And I loved your interjections, Marisa. You did really great. You just you filled those empty spots, and you added more information for the people. So I thought that was really good. I thought you were gonna be the quiet person, but you weren't tonight. You're like, I'm just gonna host. But yeah, you added great information.
Good. Yeah, you know, and I really try to, and maybe it's my TV background too, but I try to know where there's a lull. And I'm real, you know, like if there's a lull or something like, oh, we gotta, you know, so yeah. So I'm thinking, Chrissy, I would actually on the next, if we do another parent huddle, this is my recommendation, all four of us, because then it's gonna just move and then we don't give it all to Chrissy. You know what I mean? And it's just one person, one tone. I mean, we could really, that's what I was thinking in my head as that, especially if it's an hour and a half.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
That's a long time to listen to just one person. So thank goodness we had the, you know, Michael and we had, and Dondrell, but I would really love, like Carlene and Holly, you take a segment from, you know, one of those sections
and talk on it.
And do you see how that could
yes.
rock and roll a lot? Yeah.
More variety, and it's like, yeah, keep
exactly.
It going.
And you hit it on the head, variety. I think we all, we're in this day and age where it's so hard to just sit for long periods. And I don't know, an hour and a half, you guys, yeah, that's long.
That was long, I know.
Did you guys feel it? Yeah.
An hour is like good. Hour you can do, it's like, do anything for an hour, you know, but it's like, when it gets past that, it gets kind of like, okay.
So if anybody ever, we won't even give that an option. Just 1 hour huddle. Yeah. Yeah.
And they go fast, so they'll be like, it's gone.
And I think, I think if we broke it up into segments, each of us had a segment, or maybe not me, but I could just continue but that would be wow. Yeah, I mean, like
it would be nice to do a segment, a breakout, a new person segment, breakout, new you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then you're, even as one person, you're not really talking long, you're presenting some things and then posing some thought and question and interaction.
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, that could be like our template right there.
Right.
You know, introduce, so housekeeping, introductions, and then get into it. First segment, Carlene, breakout. Second segment, Holly, whatever, breakout. And then Chris, breakout. And that way it's tight. We're moving faster. I can see that our second one being pretty cool.
And then we still have to put don't we still have to put Mike and Dondrell in there?
So I'm going to do a follow-up meeting with them and ask them, you know, their thoughts and then yeah, we'll see what happens. I got a call from somebody who forwarded the email to her, and she is with an organization. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's kind of exciting. I forgot the organization. I actually got two calls. One was from the PTA and the other one was something else. Anyway, so we'll see. Yeah, we're just moving right along, one foot in front of the other, but
Okay, so when is our next meeting?
the 10th.
That's Wednesday. Nope, that's Thursday.
Thursday at
Thursday.
3:30.
Okay.
And we are going to introduce Emily.
Okay.
Emily Apple into our coaching. So Chrissy, you had missed the Holly and Holly and Carlene and I, when we were meeting, I just posed a question anyway, without repeating all that. We think that Emily would be, this would be a good time to go ahead and bring her in, to really help relieve you. And so as another educator, so
yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, we, so we'll bring her in on the 14th. So we'll have that introductory meeting. 14th will be kind of with Diana Basinger on coaches. And then I want also Jonathan to talk to us. After I meet with him, I'm going to have him talk to us about our business model. And just, I'm going to firm it up with him before he talks to all of you. But I just thought maybe he would be really good at laying that out for us. So I'm going to consult with him a little bit. And it's everything that mainly, again, Chrissy, you missed this. You missed this one, but Carlene and Holly, everything that we talked about as far as pricing and everything. I just want to talk to Jonathan about that for just a short meeting with him. And then I want him to present it to all of us with Emily on board. So, but it's everything we talked about. Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
So the 14th.
3:30.
I can't make it.
Oh, okay.
We have, this is part of my little, yesterday and the day before, it was all these things are coming up with work that I did not anticipate.
Oh.
All of a sudden they have an A+ application and the judges are coming that week. And so she's like, great opportunity to be part of this. And I'm like,
Yeah, no. And that's for the coaches anyway, Chrissy, so it's okay,
Maybe if you just send me the recording or something.
Yeah.
Not edited out of
But I'm even, if you want to, but I'm even thinking, because you're not really, getting to the coach, but she is good. So, yeah.
That would be, I'm okay with that. And I wanted to say, it's funny because after you got off the call and you were talking about Emily and that she may not be, have any belief or anything. If I had had more time and didn't have to leave to the next meeting, my thinking, and I've been so swamped I haven't even thought any more about it, but my immediate thinking was, what a blessing we're going to be to her. Do you know what I mean? She is going to be exposed, and if that's not comfortable for her, then that's okay, but she can make her way out. But who knows what we'll be speaking into her. And to see faith alive and in a work setting, and it just might, who knows what we're going to do. And I'm really grateful too, because things are feeling real heavy right now, and I don't, I told Ben last night, I'm like, I don't know, I don't know how to, last week I was Wonder Woman, this week I'm whoa woman.
Wow.
And it's part-time, but does it feel like?
It's heavy right now just because, well, this Governor Ducey is requiring that all schools do benchmark testing, and we have to have all the data in by the 15th, but we're not even in school. So we've had to learn a whole new method of testing online. And next week I have to sit with their first day of school. I have to pull kindergartners to test because of the deadline. And we have an A plus application, and my schooling is crazy right now. The project he just introduced, along with my internship project, and my head was, I don't know, I'm praying about it, but I'm like, I don't know. So I'm happy to hear that she'll be coming on, because I love this, and I want to still, I don't want to give this up,
Right.
but I need help.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Chrissy. And you just let us know. And I just want to let you know, I hope that that confirmed what Carlene actually said exactly what he said. So in the meeting, so she played a big role in helping lead me in that direction. She said exactly what you said. And so that was confirmation. It was really confirmation. And wow, Holly, I'm so proud of you. Honestly, I was like, I mean, inside.
Holly just rose up. I love it. I'm like, oh, you did it. Be proud of you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And like, not only did you speak so eloquently and contribute so much to the conversation, not only did you do that, but like you were obedient and overcame everything else to be here. I mean, like, that's like beautiful obedience. Like, despite whatever else you had to do or felt like you needed to do, or maybe wanted to do other than this, like, you were obedient to the calling. So that's awesome.
Thanks.
You know, when you guys all know this, when we face our fears, that's when we will hit victory is ahead, but we got to get through it. You know, not over it, not under it, not through the side, but through it.
Through it.
So, and then the victory is there. Yeah. So yeah, we all did that today. Yeah, all of us. Even you, Carlene.
Can I share something with you guys that I read today? You just reminded me of it, Marisa. And it's this teacher, and he writes beautifully. I follow him, and he's incredible. So it says, wrap your head around this one. Everything, and I do mean every single thing you now are able to do, you once were unable to accomplish. Read that again. Everything. Everything. At one point, it all existed outside of your possibility. In essence, your life has been about accomplishing the impossible. Let that sink in. Everything. It all required something new or different from you. Growth, strength, courage, willingness to fail, change, problem solving, perseverance, and every time you rose to it. Recognize that. And now, this new thing that you face, whatever it may be, a different path, a new challenge, heartbreak, an upheaval, a distant dream, a temporary impossible, it again simply requires something new or different from you. Do not fear that. You will rise to it again, as you have for everything that has come before. In essence, your life has been about accomplishing the impossible.
I love that. That's
awesome.
It's kind of been a theme today. The theme I've been hearing today. It's so amazing.
Well, I'm gonna send it to you guys so you have it.
Oh.
But
Yes, I need to print that out.
Yep. Beautiful. So
that's amazing. That's so.
And then, Chrissy, you were gonna send one of the video. I don't know, one or a couple of the videos from your class.
I forgot. I'll write that down.
Chrissy, are you gonna just give her that folder with all of your?
Oh yeah, you can have access to it. I need to put the others into it though.
Okay.
I need to move
Just give her that folder. Or give her access to that folder. So every time she's done, she uploads it, or she will, onto the Zoom recordings onto a folder, and then she'll share it with all of us.
Nice. Okay.
You could just go in there. And so, Chrissy, just reminder tomorrow at 10. I sent her a reminder as well. So I think the kids, that's become a routine, so they're not going to forget. But yeah.
All right, well, ladies, I am about to drown right now. I gotta go.
Quick prayer though, just covering, right? Anybody would like to pray? No?
I will.
Oh.
Why not?
I know, really.
You gotta roll tonight.
She read that thing.
Right. No. Love it.
Reading it to encourage you encouraged me. I don't know. I was gonna be brave. Okay, I'm not as eloquent as what we have heard, so just go with it, Grace. Dear Heavenly Father, how amazing you are. Lord, it is incredible that you work through us and you let us. What a beautiful, beautiful gift. Father, we just thank you so much. Your hand is over everything we do, Lord. And I'm so grateful that you speak through us, you work through us, you give us strength that we had no idea we had. Lord, just keep encouraging us to be our authentic selves, the selves that you created because this world needs us. Lord, continue to do your good work in each one of us. Lord, continue to bless PLA, bless each one of us. And Father, I just ask for a hedge of protection around each and every one of us, Lord. Any anxiety, overwhelming fears, anything negative that threatens us or threatens this organization, Lord, I just pray that you are surrounding it, you are holding it in your hand, and you are guiding us every step of the way. Lord, I am just so grateful for these ladies that you've introduced them into my life and are speaking such wisdom into me and helping me grow as a person. Lord, they are a blessing, and I ask, Lord, that you bless each one of them. You just guide them and help them see themselves like you see them. Help them recognize their strength and their beauty and their courage and their gifts that they have to this world. Lord, I just thank you for this night. I thank you for each and every person that was a participant and every person that will watch this, Lord. You know exactly what they need to hear from it. Open their minds to receive it. And give them the courage to act upon it. We pray for all of the children that will be impacted by what we went through tonight. Our own and everybody else's. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. That was beautiful, Chrissy. That was beautiful. Thank you. I'm just like, I'm feeling it. Like, thanks. I love it. Love it. Thank you. I was feeling it.
You got a break, Carlene. You gave a break.
We'll go right back to you, though. Don't you worry.
Oh, love you guys.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. We're praying for your Zoom call tomorrow.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just less overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Please. Thank you.
Peace and yeah.
All right.
Bye.